In 2014, the gospel has been proclaimed. People have worshiped at both the Vine service, the classic service, as well as the communion service. God has been glorified. To God be the glory, and many thanks to all of you for your love and support and gifts. We need to take in probably 100 to 120 new members every year. But in the past 7 or 8 years, we have received 50 to 60 new members a year. If we continue at that trend, we'll end up in about 5 or 7 years as a 1,200 member congregation, not a 1,500 member congregation. So we need to begin to walk across the room, as we talked about a few years ago, and invite neighbors, family members, friends, colleagues, new people to town, people that you know that don't have a church home. Invite them to worship. Probably more important is church attendance than membership, to be very honest with you. And our attendance began to grow about a year ago and then took a dip. I'm pleased that it's back up now after the first of the year, but I encourage you strongly, make worship a priority and be here in worship on Sunday morning. One final thing I'd like to share with you is that the First Presbyterian Church of Lakeland is a traditional, moderately conservative, evangelical, Christ-centered congregation. And we are part of a very progressive denomination. And for some, that's a problem. I'm very proud of the fact that although our General Assembly has made some decisions with which we disagree, that our session has stood firmly on biblical principles. And I have felt no need to pack up and leave the Presbyterian Church USA, but I'm very pleased that our congregation has taken the stand, the session has taken the stands that it has. I'm pleased to be your pastor. May God bless this new year as he has our past years together.
We had a great year with the Performing Arts series. We probably had one of the most well-attended Christmas concerts ever, so the Glory of Christmas was a tremendous success. I don't think there have been too many times when we've had more people attending Ringing His Praises in November. Another great success. We were fortunate that we brought in guest artists like Take Six, and my friends John Kirk and Trish Miller were also here to be a part of Strawberry Smash. We look forward to the remaining events in the Performing Arts series. One of the things I really want to focus on in 2015 is the participation level of all the kids at First Presbyterian Church. We need your kids. We need them to be involved in lots of different ways at First Presbyterian Church. We have music programs that we would like to highlight. We have the choirs for the youngsters, Light Shine for the middle school age kids. Excellence is a hallmark of First Presbyterian Church, and I really hope that that's always what we're known for here, that we invest in doing things absolutely to the glory of God.
We have a very dedicated team of several teams of volunteers. The ones for the hospital go every day of the week to visit our hospitalized members. And I can't underestimate the impact they make. They may not realize it. And then we have, what's especially exciting this year is that we have a pet therapy couple who go with their adorable little dogs. And they'll go anywhere. They'll go to hospitals. They're certified pet therapists. When we have communion at the 10:30 classic service, we are now putting 2 communion kits that we take to homebounds on the communion table with all the trays of elements for that service. And that indicates this is what we call an extended service, extended communion. We have a new group of about 15 trained elders who can officiate actually doing the institution of the elements to homebound people. And they're very dedicated. It does take 2-3 hours in a Sunday afternoon, and they're here and they do it. And they always come back excited. We had a lot of new ones this time. They were bubbling over when they came back. They said that was so meaningful for me as well as for the people we went to. It's amazing the variety of things we do. And it's so supportive of the people of the congregation. It makes a real difference. To them, this becomes a church family because of the congregational pastoral care they receive.
Starting in January of each year is when I start working on Vacation Bible School. And this program continues to have God's handprint on it because of all the volunteers and the teachers that step forward every year. It was basically about how we're all very, very special in God's eyes, no matter who we are. We have what we call a third grade Bible program for our third graders. And we had 16 children this year that received their third grade Bible. And so the children learn how to use their Bibles in this 4-week time, and then they get their own personally engraved Bible. I just pray that God will fill me with His wisdom to educate our children about His Son, Jesus Christ, about His salvation, and the eternal life we have through Him. And I'm also most thankful for all the volunteers that help us in children's ministries.
I worked with the youth as the interim director over the summer, so I went on the mission trips and the camps, and then also we had a lot going on in the summer with the room changes. We kind of remodeled the youth hall here, which was cool, kind of updated some things, and I think overall it was a really good transition because you had a youth director that was here for 8 years, and Tim, and he did a fantastic job. We went to Wetumpka, Alabama, and that was with an organization called Youth Works, and we brought 24 kids, and so we did some landscaping, we did some things with the kids there, just played with them. We also worked in a trailer park community. There was a startup kids program and we were the first ones to be a part of that. Foot on the Sun is in Hilton Head, and this year we brought 26 kids to that camp, and it's basically a Christian camp. Just get a chance to hang out with the kids and get to build relationships. And it's the same thing with the kids themselves, to just bring our group closer together. Wednesday night is our Ignite youth group, and that's really a time that I encourage kids to bring their friends because it's pretty low commitment. You know, they get to hang out and be in a safe environment that they feel comfortable in. We have about 20 to 25 minutes at the end of the night to kind of, you know, unpack some of the things that the kids learned either through the message or if we showed like a short video, and just really what's going on in the kids' lives. Some awesome volunteers that have just really ran with the small groups and really invested their time and their energy into the kids and making that a time that really everybody looks forward to. Just thank you for the support that you guys have been given, you know, financially, prayers, everything. You know, continue to pray for us that kids just deepen their walk and that kids get to know Christ for the first time, and that this is just a safe place that they can explore their faith and really grow and learn and have a place that they can ask good questions too.
SOS is the second Friday of each month. It starts at 10 and then we conclude with a lunch, and the lunch is $7. And another exciting thing that we've started is we have a bus available for those that live at the Florida Presbyterian Homes, the Presbyterian Apartments, or the Lake Morton Plaza. Our trip to St. Augustine in January. We'll be having at least one overnight trip a year, and then we'll have monthly day trips. Like we'll be going to Ybor City, and in March we're going to the Holy Land Experience. So I'm trying to get together a time to go to different community things like Talbot House or Visti or things like that. We went caroling to the Homebound, which was a wonderful thing. We actually joined with the youth and went and sang at the Florida Presbyterian Homes, but then we went to individual homes, and I'm hoping that will be an annual event. Well, I just want to say I'm really excited about this ministry, and I'm really looking forward to 2015.
Well, I would say one of the more exciting things that happened this year was the God Story Project. Encouraged the habit of Bible reading in the people, our folks here at FPC, but also to get the whole story of the Bible by reading 7 chapters a week. And it was really neat to see how many people got involved, how committed folks were to the whole process, and then to hear the stories of light bulbs going off, people making connections with parts of the Bible that they had never read before, and then the stories of just life change. You had kind of sustained ministry with a few of the small groups. So you have the Care, Share, Grow group, with Terry Frost. You have Bev Bigelow and Kim Mansky leading the women's small group, and then Jenny Ellis leading the Storyteller women's group. Then they had the women's ministries team got together and planned this big fall event where they enjoyed a Greek dinner together, had a lot of fellowship around the tables, but then also got to hear an encouraging talk on the idea of simplicity and how to live a more simple life. The men's groups that continue to meet all year long saw not only growth spiritually, but then we also kind of had this unified event in the fall called the 3G Guys Retreat, 3 generations. And so we had over 50 men of all ages and then middle and high school guys come away for the weekend. Not only do you have great kids and youth ministries going on, but the family night classes and small groups provide a lot of options on Wednesday nights, and we saw great attendance throughout the year in those. And not only did we do God's Story class and some of our ongoing small groups, we also had financial peace. We had the Lila Maurer class on seeing the Bible through fine arts. And so those are just strong classes, and they continued both in the spring and the fall to be good opportunities for people just to connect and kind of grow their faith and their knowledge of God's Word. There are at least 3 new initiatives that I am very excited about. One is the Agape class, which had kind of let God's story become its primary content for a year, is now going to kind of revert back to the Agape class, but with Zach taking the primary lead on teaching that class. We're also going to have Parenting Young Children, which is a new class that David and Kim Bowers and the Children's Ministries team kind of envisioned this class for parents of younger kids. We're starting an 8-week class for parents of teenagers. And so I think those are just going to be 3 great additions to the lineup of classes that we already have.
St. Andrew Ministry has 3 essential goals. One is to do an annual seminar that brings attention and focus to some aspect of practical pastoral care. Another is to do regular ongoing training. And then lastly is to do some level of pastoral counseling. I probably see somewhere between 7 and 15 people in individual or family sessions during the week. I typically teach on Sunday mornings, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and then of course there's that annual seminar. And in 2014, that seminar was devoted to parents, their children, and the internet. This year, what I'm contemplating at this point is doing one on the scope of marriage in the church. I do a lot of premarital counseling, and I do a fair amount of marital counseling. First Presbyterian is very committed to making pastoral care available to everyone. And so we have Stephen Ministry, a place where someone will listen to you without judging you. So we have multiple levels of care. There really ought to be a place that fits what you need.
Each day when our children come to school, I hope that we're the mission of our church, that we're setting the foundation for making and maturing disciples of Christ, even for preschoolers and their families. Because we've now been open for as long as we have, we're trying to continue to update and keep things new and fresh, and we've also we've implemented some new curriculum, so that was exciting for our teachers this year. They got to go and do some training for that. We've also hired a new music teacher. More than half of our staff has been at Little Shepherds for more than 10 years, and I think that's really something to be said about that we're able to maintain our teachers, and that they want to be here and it's a good place. And we also this year, probably more than ever, did hire some new staff, and they've just been wonderful additions. We're very blessed. I would love for people to come and see what we do, just anytime. I know sometimes on Sundays people might walk through and see our rooms and things, but just even during the week, anytime, we would love for them to stop in and just look around and see what we're doing.
We saw our influence in places like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter almost double. And so every week we have hundreds and sometimes even thousands of people engaging in what God is doing here at FPC.
We also made a real effort to reach out to our neighborhood this year through a program I'm calling the Good Neighbor Initiative, where we, at the holiday season, packed up more than 500 bags and took 300 of them to our local neighborhood. Some of our small groups, including the men's Wednesday night group, one of the women's Wednesday night groups, our mommy time group, the youth and the children, all got together to take these bags to our neighbors. And we've got a tremendous response back from folks that they really enjoyed that. They really appreciated those gifts. And so we were just trying to be a light and a witness to our neighbors in a hospitable sort of a way. I'm the pastoral kind of liaison with Little Shepherds, which is a great program because more than 40 of our families that are a part of Little Shepherds, they claim no church affiliation. And so one of the things that we did this year was we started a new program called Mommy Time, which my wife Julie has been heading. On Mondays at 9:15, she gathers between 15 and 30 mommies to talk about the Bible and how the Bible makes an impact on them as individuals, as mothers, as spouses. They take home a little craft project that they can do with their children, and it begins to open up the conversation about faith. Nancy Bertram, our missions coordinator, is actually in Africa right now, and so just to kind of give you a thumbnail sketch of what God did through missions. We have a regular trip that goes to Merida, Mexico, and they had a tremendous time this fall going and continuing the construction projects and building the relationships that our church has established down there. We continue to partner with groups like CPI Haiti and sent trips down to Haiti this year. A new initiative that started on more of a local missions front was a group called Laundry Love. It's actually a national program, and decided to adopt that program for our church. And they adopted one laundromat where they go once a month, and once a month they do the laundry. They pay for the laundry for all the participants that are there. And they've done this about 3 or 4 times now, and they begin to see the same people over and over again. And that's a good thing because they begin to build relationships with them and share Jesus with them. A lot of our local mission projects happen between the beginning of November through the end of the year. And so this year we've kind of put them all under one banner called Season of Service. More people were able to engage with what God was doing there in a spirit of camaraderie and unity. And that included our Wabash turkey distribution, which is a huge blessing for our church.
You gave more and less was spent. So we received our highest level of contributions and gifts from our congregation, totaling $2.2 million. Wow. And less was spent. We spent $2.135 million, meaning we are in a positive situation at the end of the year of $65,000, which is a true blessing. Some exciting property improvements that happened in 2014 was more lighting. So come around at night, and if you enter or exit the north or the south entrances, you will see that it is brighter. So we did that, one, to improve safety because it is quite dark out there. And you'll see that we have enhanced lighting in our parking lots and in the back behind the Boy Scout building. We'll be adding 4 lamp posts along the front of the church. So if you've been here at night, it's a little bit dark there, and we just want to improve the lighting and the safety and the visual aspects of the front of our church as well. Our stewardship campaign ended up strongly. We received over $1.7 million worth of commitments, which is over $100,000 more than what we received last year. So good things are going to continue to happen in 2015, and we're solid financially.
We are looking forward to another great year at First Presbyterian Church, FPC, as we celebrate 130 years of being a light for Jesus Christ in this community. Let's ask ourselves, how can I be more a part of what God is doing here?